Today, let's talk about an incident that highlights just how fragile the promise of privacy and security can be when it comes to messaging apps, especially those that market themselves as super secure. If you use messaging apps to keep your conversations private, this story shows why you should be cautious about claims of security, and how even apps designed with good intentions can fall short, potentially exposing your personal information to the world. In late 2023, a new messaging app called Freedom Chat launched. It came with bold claims: state-of-the-art end-to-end encryption, no metadata collection, and a decentralized serverless architecture. In other words, it promised a level of privacy that many users crave, especially those concerned about surveillance or censorship. But a security researcher named Konkovich decided to take a closer look. Through basic reverse engineering and traffic analysis, he found that the app's security claims were simply not true. Freedom Chat actually collected plenty of metadata, data about messages rather than the messages themselves, and stored all messages on centralized servers provided by a third-party encryption service called Sealed. More alarmingly, the app leaked sensitive user information. While messages themselves were encrypted, the keys needed for decryption were accessible through publicly available data. Even worse, all encrypted messages were uploaded in plain view to an open cloud storage bucket, meaning anyone with an internet connection could theoretically read every message ever sent. After these vulnerabilities were reported, Freedom Chat initially released an update claiming to fix the issues, then pulled the app from app stores to address and improve security. The CEO, Tanner Haas, later wrote a blog post about lessons learned and plans to relaunch with better testing and acceptance of criticism. Yet early responses to the vulnerability report included vague legal threats and accusations against the researcher, showing a rocky start in handling responsible disclosure. Digging deeper, further flaws surfaced. For example, all users in the default Freedom Chat channel had their personal PIN codes exposed to every other user. PINs are supposed to add a layer of security, often used to log in or restore accounts. In this case, anyone in the channel could see everyone else's PIN, which defeats the purpose entirely. Another major issue involved the app's contact discovery feature, the mechanism that lets you find friends who also use the app by checking their phone numbers. Freedom Chat used an API very similar to the one WhatsApp had, which in the past allowed attackers to enumerate or systematically gather phone numbers linked to accounts. Researchers tested this by creating a script that cycled through millions of possible phone numbers, sending them to the app server in batches, and recording which numbers were registered users. Despite the risk, Freedom Chat servers had no effective rate limiting, a security control designed to prevent such mass enumeration. Over about 27 hours, the script successfully extracted nearly every user's phone number from the app. Combined with the exposed PINs, this means an attacker could match phone numbers to PIN codes, seriously compromising user accounts and privacy. So, what does this mean in the short term? For users, it's a wake-up call to be skeptical of new messaging apps, especially those promising exceptional security without a track record. Apps that rush to market without thorough testing can put sensitive data at risk. For Freedom Chat, the company promised patches and improvements, and they have since addressed some of the issues. Yet, trust once broken can be hard to rebuild. For the broader messaging landscape, this incident demonstrates ongoing challenges in balancing user privacy, security, and usability. Features like contact discovery are convenient, but can open doors to privacy leaks if not implemented carefully. Rate limiting and strict access controls are not optional if you want to protect users' identities. Looking further ahead, we might see increased scrutiny from regulators and security researchers on privacy-focused apps, especially those attracting politically sensitive user bases or operating under controversial branding. Users will likely demand more transparency about how apps handle encryption keys, metadata, and server architecture. Moreover, this episode underscores the importance of responsible disclosure and cooperative engagement between researchers and developers. When vulnerabilities are reported, constructive dialogue and timely fixes are crucial to protect users and maintain trust. In reflection, the Freedom Chat case is a reminder that security is not just about fancy marketing claims or buzzwords like end-to-end encryption. It requires solid engineering, rigorous testing, transparency, and respect for user data. As consumers, staying informed and cautious is key. And as the privacy tech space evolves, vigilance from all sides, developers, researchers, regulators, and users, will shape a safer digital future. Thanks for listening to Early Signal. Stay tuned for more insights into tech stories that matter before they hit the mainstream.